podcast where two bearded film fans watch the best and worst horror movies of all time. My name is Luke Condor with Kate, and I'm joined by my regular co-host, Mr.
It's Mr. Ben Errington.
Mr. Ben Errington has a tight chest, which, as if you
I
can hear
do. I'm a bit out of breath today. I don't know if you can hear it. Can you hear how tight it sounds? Ooh. I'm a bit breathless and wheezy. I don't know if it's
I think you've got a
related
nice
to hay
chest.
fever.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Luke. That's a weird compliment to give someone. You've got a lovely chest. If you give it to someone of the male half of the species, it's probably a bit weird. Give it to someone of the female species, it's a bit creepy.
It depends on the context.
You've got a lot. I suppose it does depend on the context. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of.
That's what you'd say, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Listen to the context first before you judge me.
Nice boobies.
Don't think of me as a pervert.
Yeah.
I said nice boobies. I said lovely tits. Oh, don't listen to the context, will you? God, before you judge me.
Well, like this, for example, you just said that. If someone was listening now and took that out of context, someone would be like, "Oh, Ben's a right perv." But
oh yeah,
if they knew the context,
it's a minefield,
we're
isn't it?
talking about context. Yeah.
I hope one day I have to listen back to little snippets of me on this podcast.
Yeah.
Just tiny little 2 to 3 second snippets of me saying various things. I don't know. I'm in some scenario where I'm being asked to explain them all. And it's just loads of horrible things that I've said.
You're in front of a court, and there's like a jury there of young people, and there's 20 years ago you said nice boobies on on a
You
podcast.
said nice boobies. Who were you talking to, and what did you mean by that? And that's harassment.
Yeah.
Oh man, I didn't mean it. Yeah, there we go. But we all got to be responsible for our own actions, Luke. So you know,
that's true. But
in 20 years, you might have to defend a lot worse.
We'll have to wait and see. So talking about horror movies and that, we've got some news, I believe.
Oh, do we have to?
Nice newsies.
Yeah.
Well,
we got some newsies. We'll look at what the horror. We'll come up with a name for this section, currently called Horror News, which is pretty spot on, really, isn't it? Horror News section.
The horror. So last
week we were talking about. It's got a good ring to it. Last week we were talking about the arrival of It Chapter 2 trailer, and it arrived, and you broke your oath that you made to Stephen King himself. Your blood oath, which was to never dribble oath, which was never watch trailers again, pretty much. But then you watched this one, didn't you?
I've been very lax on my trailer watching.
You got no control.
I've got no control. I need to get back on my diet of no trailers, but I couldn't help but watch that, and that trailer is the scariest trailer I think I've ever seen. It's one scene, but there's a bit. It's with the older Jessica Chastain playing the older, I can't remember her name now, and this old woman who's obviously
before we go into it, there are no spoilers in the trailer. It's just sort of like a nice scene. Well, I guess it's a spoiler, but it's just a nice scene from the film and some setup for the rest of the film, but no major plot points or anything.
I don't know if it's because I was maybe a bit lightheaded. I'm on the antihistamines from hay fever at the minute, so maybe that added to the experience. But
explain that, yeah.
I was watching the trailer, and there's a bit where the woman just doesn't say anything for about 20 seconds, and I remember it just feels painful.
I thought my computer was buffering.
Yeah, I couldn't stand it.
Come
There was
on,
something
man.
about that situation of waiting for that woman to say something that I found utterly unbearable. And then she finally says something. It just gets weirder and weirder, and it's just a really good trailer. Like, it doesn't give anything away. It just gives you a sense of the tone.
It's ripped pretty much straight from the book, right?
I think it's almost identical. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've read somewhere that they're going to include some more controversial scenes from the book in the film. I don't know if they're going to include the big controversial scene, the one you know about. Or, I don't know if they're going to include that, but
yeah,
you know what I mean? From the
book?
No.
I know what you mean.
Big,
it's just funny that you said. I know you know that. You know the scene.
Oh no, you know, and we both read it, and we both felt dirty afterwards, and we had to have a shower, an hour-long shower.
In the 20-year in the future court, the kids would be like, whenever you read a scene with loads of kids doing dirty stuff with each other, why did you do that? and you have to
Why did you
explain
do
the
that?
entire plot of it.
Well, I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it. I promise. Yeah, so obviously this film takes place. This is all the kids all grown up, not set in the 80s now. Obviously, they flipped it from the book where the kids weren't. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah,
they set the scenes with the kids in the 80s, and the stuff now is in modern day.
Yeah.
Or like 2000 and something. So yeah, it looks pretty cool. Casting's really good. I think like everyone from Bill Hader to what's his name, James McAvoy. All look pretty good.
Yeah.
Got some big names in that cast, as well as some sort of relative unknowns. And it looks like it's going to be more of the same, which I'm looking forward to. I recommend if you're the kind of person who does avoid trailers, like Luke Condor usually does before he lights himself, then you can watch this trailer and feel fine about it. I tend to think I'm going to watch like one trailer, a teaser and a trailer. I think I can get away with.
Yeah.
Anything more than that, I kind of think I'm starting to ruin stuff now because a new trailer.
You mean like when you see the videos where it's like 10 things you missed from the It trailer, like it comes out 5 minutes later?
Oh yeah, but I can't help but watching them. I'm obsessed with stuff like that. Get it straight into my veins. Only from a few YouTubers, not like everybody. Yeah, so there's that, and then I guess the other thing I wanted to mention was I didn't put this on the list today, Luke. So I'm just freestyling here. The Midsummer trailer, new film from Ari Aster. Now this is probably a trailer you might want to avoid because we saw a teaser. That may be all you want to see. This one, a few more plot points, I guess, even though it doesn't show absolutely loads. It shows loads without showing loads, if that makes any sense.
Okay. I think I saw a still or the poster, and I was like, that's I'm there. I don't need to see the trailer.
The still is a close-up of the actress. I've completely forgotten her name now. The one who played Paige in the Fight With My Family film. It's a close-up of her with a tear run down her face. There's a sort of quite a theme going on in modern horror, isn't it? Of posters or promotional art where someone's crying a single tear.
Florence Pugh. Is that her name?
Florence Pugh, that's it. You got it, mate.
Pugh. I thought that was Jordan Peele's thing. He has like a black person crying. That was like his stick, wasn't it? Get out and
I'll have a white person crying, alright?
Yeah, I can do that. But we're white people.
Yeah, but we're white people, so you know, I ain't ripping anything off. It's a completely new and original idea.
My name's Harry. Bag of crisps,
Harry,
pint of Fosters, and I'll make a film where the white woman's crying.
Right here.
Lovely film that.
Very lovely film. Delicious.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to watch that, like 100%. I think if it's a follow-up from Hereditary.
Yeah, so it comes out in July, which looks exciting.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you like the sound of that film at all, which is kind of like a folk horror, weird cult, all set in the daytime, constantly in the daytime. They're in Sweden. They're like, it's 9 p.m. The sun's in the middle of the sky. What's going on here? If you like the sound of that, sort of like a cross between The Wicker Man and the Wicker Man remake.
Yeah, that sounds good.
If you like the sound of that, go watch the teaser. Probably don't watch the trailer. Like, you know, me, I'm like, it's like picking a scab. If I know it's there, I'm like, let's have a look here then.
The teaser's like like a flavouring, like it's just packaging, like it's like a nice cover.
Yep.
It sort of adds to the experience. Yeah. I was gonna say there's another Stephen King thing, The Outsider.
Correct.
Coming out.
Correcto. Keeping on the Stephen King thing. So this is one of his recent novels. I'm currently reading it. I'm about 100 pages in.
People love it. People love it.
People are loving this shit, man. Well, HBO released like 2019, 2020 preview, and basically gave the first look at the series. There's a couple of clips in it, but it stars Ben Mendelsohn and Jason Bateman, and it is kind of like, it starts off as a police procedural, and it slowly gets into different territory. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything. All right, I'm not going to say anything. I can't say anything. So it's like so basically a seemingly straightforward investigation into the gruesome murder of a local boy leads a seasoned cop and an unorthodox investigator to question everything they believe to be real, even their own hands, as an insidious supernatural force edges its way into the case. I added the hands bit.
Yeah, I liked it.
That one part of it.
It's weird because I could do anything. I'm question if anything around me is real. Like if it's sunny outside, Is this real?
Yeah, what is that? Is it sunny outside? Is it just a big light bulb?
And how can you question if anything's real without starting to sing Bohemian Rhapsody? Like, it's impossible.
I guess so. I guess you're right.
It's
yeah.
difficult to get
so have you read? You haven't read the book, have you?
No, I've read the cover, and I was like, that was quite good.
That's pretty much the same these days, isn't it? Yeah. But I'm enjoying it so far. It's very like edge of your seat sort of stuff, and it's very like, oh, interesting. What's going on here? I'm trying to spot a twist coming at me, but so that's what I'm trying to avoid. I mean, I watched this clip, but I'm going to try and avoid other stuff, so I don't want everything to ruin it. But it sounds like it could be quite interesting as a series. Difficult to market the series, I think, because it looks from the exterior like it's going to attract the people who like true crime stuff.
Maybe it'll do the True Detective sort. First season 1 is kind of borders on horror.
A very tiny little supernatural horror element, sort of like 5%, like a little drop of blood in a big old sea of water.
Ribena cordial in a big glass of water.
That's a much better analogy.
Yeah.
Ribena cordial, like, it is Ribena when you drink it.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's not how it started. But now it'll never go back to being water.
No.
Hello, you did.
Yeah.
No.
Well, so new Purge movie. What's this? Number 6?
Oh, I couldn't even tell you. I'm not particularly a fan of these movies, but I know that you've seen a few, so I made a note of this. 2020, there's going to be a new Purge movie. I guess it's just one of those things that they're going to sort of try and pump out every couple of years because they make a lot of dollar.
Yeah, they do.
This is going to be number 5.
These movies, number 5. They come out on big screens, right? They're not like straight to DVD fare. They're
no.
The cinematic releases. The big ones, yeah. I don't know if I'd ever go to the cinema to see one. No, I'm not that invested. It's not so much of a horror thing anymore. It seems to be increasing. It's like dark thriller, satire, whatever the political climate is of the day. They go, I could do a Purge movie about that.
We could do a horror movie about that.
Yeah. Harry.
So who knows? Who knows what? Who knows what the political climate's going to be like in 2020? Who knows what kind of horrible horror thriller we're going to see?
Yeah. Other than that, what other news we got? We're nearing episode 100.
We are. So this is episode 96. If you listen to this, 96. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. Can you believe we've come this far?
How long have we been doing it for? Like 2 years? Does it feel like
too long? Too long. I don't know. I think it's maybe just over 2 years, perhaps.
Yeah, that makes sense. We do about an episode a week normally. Yeah, it's about just over 2 years.
Feel like that. And it is something I look forward to. Don't get a big head now. It's something I look forward to. It's not something
I've already got one.
Oh, bloody hell. It's not one of those things when you think, I've got this coming up, I'm dreading it, thinking about it all day, do I have to do that? Oh, bloody hell, and then you do it, you're like, that was a bit shit. I look forward to this stuff,
Sometimes you can be quite tired in your day, you feel a bit sort of, I don't know, obliterated by work, and you get here, you just chat about films and stuff with someone. It's quite nice.
It's nice to socialise as well, because especially I just sat on my own in my house looking at the wall. Not really doing that, but mostly. So we kind of want some ideas, I guess, of what to do for episode 100. I know we've knocked a couple of ideas around of possibly doing like a live watch-along, live podcast thing. We haven't really looked into logistics of that yet, but I don't think it's too difficult, right? Usually?
No, I think it'll be alright. I think if anything, we could just set a schedule and then just get something on Facebook in the Facebook group, and we could all watch it together and chat about it. Or there's options for us to watch it and talk over it as well.
That might be quite good if we do like a stream of the film, because there are ways you can like share movies you're watching, right?
Yeah.
And then somehow have us there chatting as well, and having a live chat. Does that sound like too much going on?
I think you have to find a quiet film where there's not much chatting going on. Because if it's like a very dense and complicated plot, then we won't shut up.
It's true. Yeah, well, I think we won't watch a dense, complicated film. I think we'll watch something, the schlockier the better, I think, for episode 100. A film you'd really like to have a few beers with.
Maybe a trauma film, then.
Maybe a trauma film.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah.
We'll give it some more thought. But if anyone's got a suggestion, hit us up on the Facebook group, Horror Hangout Board of Advisors. Tell us what you think. Hit us up on Twitter as well, at Hawk and Cleaver. And just tell us what we should do for episode 100. Or don't even do episode 100. Do 99 and then do episode 101. Really fuck with the system.
Yeah, we could save it for later. We could save episode 100 for when we're like 110
not ready.
down in. We're not ready yet. Do it later.
We're not ready yet. We're going to do 100. Episode 100's coming up. We're now on 194. Confusing.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then lastly, we've got Horror Hangout t-shirts officially. That was quick, wasn't it? Because we spoke about that last week. And now they're live and they exist. I mean, they don't physically exist. I don't think one's been printed yet.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
but
I
you
think
can purchase one.
I think one's
been printed
today. Yeah.
Well, one was ordered today, but did it get printed today? That's the question I want answered.
I think so, because that was quite early, so I think it's the same day shipment.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you go to hawkandcleaver.com, click on the shop button, then we've got a little web store on there with a few merchandise items, including a black Horror Hangout t-shirt. It's got the Horror Hangout logo in, what would you say, like green, greeny blue, minty green?
Key lime green.
Algae. Key lime green, that's better. I knew we'd get there. So if you do purchase one, whoever does, then we obviously got to see a picture of it. Andy Conduit Turner said he's going to get one.
I think I might get one. I think I might get chasing one.
Is that like I don't know, can you wear your own podcast t-shirts?
I'm wearing my own podcast t-shirts all the time.
I've got 20 of them. I've got 20 of my own podcast t-shirts in there.
I wear them like a uniform. Like I've got a polo shirt with my face.
It would be good if we had one and we wore it every single week.
Yeah.
With horror hangout hats and
ties.
Horror hangout mugs.
Yeah.
Ties maybe. Great.
Yeah, I mean we'll add more to the shop as we go. It's a fairly straightforward process these days. Especially now. I think the logo works quite well. I think it'd be nice to get some sort of commissioned art as well for it at some point. But we'll see how that works.
Well, we've got some pretty sweet art for the other Hawk and Cleaver podcast, the other stories, done by Luke Spooner. That's pretty badass.
Yeah, it'd be good to get some of that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I bloody like it. Okay, that's the news section over. Thanks for joining me.
Horror movie news section.
Horror movie news section. The official horror movie news section.
The official horror movie news section. Okay, that's done. Ticked off the list. Join us next week for more of the horror movie news section. Up next on the itinerary, Stuffs and Guffs. Have you done a stuff or done a guff?
I'm gonna, but I'll keep it fairly brief. Okay. So I watched The Endless this week.
Oh yeah,
which I believe you've seen as well.
Oh, I watched it on loop.
So you watched it on loop. You got stuck in a loop.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a science fiction thriller, sort of with, I guess, horror elements, time travel, spacey shit, cosmic stuff.
Yeah, I mean the horror comes from the cosmic side of it, doesn't it?
Yeah. It kind of wears its heart on its sleeve, though. Like, it's not a mystery to sort of unpick. It kind of tells you what's going down from the start, and whether you believe it or not, it's kind of up to you. But yeah, sort of, I guess it's quite a low-budget film, like for mostly unknowns. And it's Aaron Moorhead and Justin Benson who have made a film, or a couple of films before, I believe.
They've made one called, they made one I can't remember the name of, and then they made something called Spring, which is apparently really good as well.
Resolution? Anyway.
Resolutions, that's the first one, I think. And I think that has, I haven't seen it, but there is, I think it ties into part of this film.
Yeah. I mean, I did really enjoy it. I was definitely a little bit confused at times because, all the time loop stuff sometimes when you try and get your head around the logistics of it can be quite confusing, and I'm a simple fellow. I thought it was really ambitious. Had some really cool ideas. I don't think it quite got to where I expected it to go.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I kind of expected certain revelations and certain things to be shown, and maybe even like a twist at the end in some way. But for me, it kind of just not fizzled out, but kind of just.
I thought it's pretty good. I need to watch it again. I think I like some of the time loop stuff is quite horrific. I mean, there's that one guy. I don't want to spoil it for everyone, but there's one guy in a tent. I think he's in a tent.
Yeah, he's in a tent,
and he's dying. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, but it's on Netflix. So if
Oh,
you're
is it?
stuck
Okay, cool.
for,
Yeah,
you want to watch a little weird, I guess it's one of those films that's a bit off the. It's kind of when you go off the beaten track, looking for
yeah,
something to
yeah.
watch. And it's not something you never necessarily see, and you think that looks all that good because it's got no recognizable faces in it, and not that would make me watch a film or not, but to know that it's actually
It's got
pretty
great
good is
like cover art as well. On the
oh
Blu-ray, I don't
yeah,
have to use it for Netflix cover, but it's that weird sort of circle in the sky thing going on. It's great. It's beautiful.
it's good stuff.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all I've watched. Although I have got hold of the new Spider-Man game on PS4. I say new; it came out sort of like last September probably. And I've been delving into that and becoming quite obsessed with it because the web swinging and the combat is some of the best you could
Some of
ever
the
have
best
to have.
ever. Okay.
Think of like the combat from like the Arkham
Yeah,
games,
yeah.
but you can do like 15 other things, and just the web swinging is just so fluid. It's delicious.
I watch a YouTube show called Girlfriend Reviews, and they're not reviews of games, but they're reviews of a girlfriend living and watching a boyfriend play games.
All right,
She's talking about
I like that.
Spider-Man one. It's really really good. She was like watching her boyfriend like web swing around Manhattan, and she was like, "Wow, are you?" She like, he looks like he's
Are you
amazing. He goes, she's like, "Am I dating Spider-Man?" And then she
Oh,
had a go, and he said within like 5 minutes she was doing the same thing because it's just how easy it is
Yeah.
to work it. I definitely want to give it a go.
Girlfriend reviews, yeah. I'll give this.
Yeah,
I'll give
yeah.
this. Yeah,
Any of those
that's something
videos, they're
to
really
watch.
good. Yeah. Well, yeah,
What about
man.
you?
I watched a couple of things. I watched something called Time Bandits.
Oh
Have you
yes.
seen Have you seen Time Bandits?
Oh my God. Yeah, not for a long time,
Yeah.
but I saw it quite a while ago.
Me too. It's one of like the formative films I watched when I was very, very, very young. And like when you watch it now, there's scenes that like you just remember, or like the special effects, are all very practical effects, and it's all very. It's a Terry Gilliam film. I think it's maybe his. I think it was his one of his first feature films after he sort of did the Monty Python stuff.
What is it? What is it? 90s?
No, it's
80s.
I would say 80s. But it's
1980 Summit.
British production. It's about a little boy who seven dwarves fly into his room through the cupboard, and then they're chased, and they take him, and they're being chased by a godhead sort of thing. It's all like very practical. Like there's rotoscoping sort of animations over the top, which makes you feel that reminds you of like Willow and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
It's really funny. It's not slow paced. It's not boring at all. It just makes you feel like a kid again, an English kid, and it's got one of the best.
It makes
Kids
you feel like an
movies.
English.
Yeah, it's just very English. It's full of like.
It'd be weird if it made you
British
feel like a
actors.
Brazilian kid.
Yeah.
I've never even been a Brazilian kid,
Yeah,
but I feel like one right now.
Exactly, yeah. But it's good, and then the ending, which I think most people would remember about the film, is I'm not gonna. I don't know. I'm gonna worry about spoiling it because it's 1981. The film came out, so it's the ending where the kid gets back to his home on this like little suburban street, and there's a piece of evil in the microwave oven, and his parents both touch it at the same time, and they both explode. So it ends with his parents like popping, like
His parents explain.
yeah.
Is it quite like creepy, the film, if I remember right?
Not really. I
Is it
mean,
creepy?
maybe when we were kids, we would have thought some bits might have been a bit creepy, because it's like there's a thing called pure evil, which is a man who wants the time map so he can get computers and take over the world or something.
Is there there's a pig man in it, right?
There is a pig man in it, yeah. So when you're a kid, that might have been kind of freaky.
Yeah.
There's things that would have
Freaked
been
out by a pig man.
the sort of the special effects might have been freaky for a young kid. It's all very practical. It's all very wet and gooey. The skulls, Evil's got like a plasticine skull on the back of his head.
Yeah.
But it's good. I think if you like Terry Gilliam, it's a very Terry Gilliam film.
Yeah.
Like the visual style of it. But yeah, it's good. And I also watched Detective Pikachu, which is
Oh.
I wasn't too keen on going to watch it. It wasn't. I just kind of felt like it was going to be getting into a bit of a kids' film, and it is a kids' film, but it's all right. It's way better than I think it has any right to be, as it's about Ryan Reynolds playing Pikachu, but that makes sense in the context of the story. Where you can't really explain it without giving away the whole ending to the film. But it does explain it, and there's a reason why Pikachu talks like that. But it's all right. I mean, especially if you grow up with Pokemon, it makes you feel like, oh, I wish I lived in that world, because there's like Squirtles working with the firemen, and there's like
I bet not as many people die then. Squirtle's saving the day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's Jigglypuff singing in the karaoke bar. There's a Mr. Mime bit, which is really funny. It's very funny, and it's I don't know why I watched so many kids films this week, but
grow up,
good.
Mate. To be fair, I'll probably watch Detective Pikachu when I get a chance, maybe this weekend.
I think we'll like it.
But yes, a few sort of films coming out soon, like in the next week or so. This is going to be like Aladdin comes out, John Wick 3, that Elton John biopic. There's all these different things coming. I'm going to be cinema over the next couple of weeks is going to be crazy.
What's coming out horror-wise, though?
I don't care about horror. I don't care about horror, alright? Who cares about horror? Who'd do 100 episodes talking about horror films?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. The next horror film is probably... it is a good question. What's the next horror film?
That's when you have to dive back. You have to go into the oldies.
So... yeah, maybe this is... yeah, so... I'm pretty sure there's going to be... so The Curse of La Llorona came out like last week, right? That's one. It Chapter 2 is coming out in September.
Yes.
I believe. Midsummer is in July.
Okay, that makes sense, being midsummer.
On brand.
Yeah.
I think we're getting an Annabelle 3.
So is La Llorona in this universe as well? In the Conjuring Universe?
Yes, but I think Andy, as he said to us last week, it is very loosely linked via the smallest, tiniest little, like, oh bloody hell, that coffee cup is in the same film as that. Yeah. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is out this year as well.
Yeah, I'm quite excited.
I'm not sure on the date of when that comes out, but yeah, that should be pretty good. 47 Meters Down.
Have you never done that one?
Sequel.
Okay. 48 Meters Down.
What did I say? Oh, that's what it's called. Another Blumhouse film called Ma. I don't know if you've seen the...
Is this in the same universe as well? Oh, yeah, I saw a trailer for that, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
basically, everything's the same bloody video. Same bloody universe.
Okay.
And I'm probably missing absolutely loads of stuff out, but there we go. That's the ones I can kind of remember and also kind of Googled.
I like it. I feel like this is all these films take place in the Conjuring verse, but that's okay. The Conjuring.
Every film takes place in the Conjuring verse, including Detective Pikachu.
Yeah. He shows up in this film we're talking about today. So The Conjuring is today's film. It is. I completely forgot where it comes on the list.
So we're working away now. We've gone back to the IGN Top 100 for the first time in how long? In maybe like 6-7 weeks.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
And obviously, because we've already reviewed some of the films on the IGN Top 100, a lot of the ones we're going through, we're going to like skipping ahead. So I think The Conjuring is somewhere in the 90s, 94. So the last film we reviewed on this list was Trick or Treat.
That was ages ago. So
that was bloody ages ago.
I've got the IGN thing about it here.
Yeah. Do you want me to just quickly do the deets?
Yeah, do the deets, yeah.
So The Conjuring is a 2013 American supernatural horror film directed by James Wan. And it's the inaugural film in the Conjuring Universe, starring Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga as Ed and Lorraine Warren, paranormal and investigators. So, paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren work to help a family terrorized by a dark presence in their farmhouse.
Lovely. Well, this is what William Bibiani says from IGN. The questionably real paranormal investigations of Ed and Lorraine Warren become fodder for one hell of a scary story and lay the groundwork for many to come in James Wan's The The Conjuring. It's a tale of a family who fall prey to a malevolent spirit who seek the help of the Warrens to save their family in more ways than one. The Conjuring has a deliriously theatrical scares and cinematography full of dark little nooks and crannies where you just know evil dwells. But this is more than just a spook house. It's a spook house full of sensitive souls whose lives are devastated by forces they don't understand. Lily Taylor, Ron Livingston, Patrick Wilson, Vera Farmiga, and a score of talented child actors invite you into their lives before we see them threatened, and that makes the threats unbearably scary. It's got 85% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's pretty good. 7.5 out of 10 on IMDb. That's very average. And I think I know some people are very sort of middling to fair to middling on this film. I have always been fair to high on this film, but I've seen it many times now.
Yep.
And maybe that's starting to worry a little bit when you know the scares. The main thing about this film is that it's a spook house. It's like a fun house of a film, and the gags are one of the big sells of it.
Yeah, I feel the same. I feel like maybe this is the, fourth or fifth time I've seen it.
Yeah.
Like in my whole life since 2013 when it was released. And yeah, I feel like it's ran a bit thin with me as well. But it's hard to sort of deliver a subjective review when you feel about that. A bit bored because you'd sort of seen it and you know what's coming and all that stuff. The Conjuring 2, I've only ever actually seen just the once, so it would be nice to go back and watch that again.
Yeah.
But those are the only two films in the Conjuring universe that I've actually seen, because the thought of a spin-off from a horror film universe kind of fills me with not dread, but just,
That's what they're aiming for.
That's what they're aiming for. They're aiming for dread, but it fills me with like, do you know what I mean? I'm just not really feeling it. But do you think with this film, when this film was written and released, that they kind of saw a bigger horror film shared universe?
I don't think so. I kind of get the impression that James Wan didn't want to do much more horror stuff, because you kind of think so. James Wan did Saw. He done the first Saw. And he did something called Dead Silence, which I've still not seen. I really want to see. He did Insidious, and I think Insidious 2. And then he was doing this. But I know because he did Aquaman and he's done Fast and Furious films. I've always understood that that's what he wanted to do. He wants to do big budget other films, but he's sort of been pigeonholed in this horror sort of thing. But he obviously does it really well. I think Insidious was pretty good. If you, it still felt like a bit rough around the edges and that, but I feel like this film is his most mature horror film that he's done, and it's also not really for people looking to be. It's not for horror movie fans. Although horror movie fans, I imagine, like it. It feels way more mainstream. It's like a stepping stone horror film. It's like a reaching hand to the mainstream audience and saying, "Come in." That's what I imagine Poltergeist would have felt like back in the day. But it just feels like it's a family film where everyone can genuinely
a family
get scared.
film.
Yeah,
you can watch it with your young children.
Yeah,
no, but I know what you mean. It does feel like you care about this family, and it's not like sometimes with films like this, with like hauntings or ghosts or stuff, people just want scares or they just want to see people get murked.
Yeah,
but with this one, I didn't really like Insidious or Insidious 2. I think that's it. Is that the only two there's been? Has there been a third?
There's been 4, I think.
I think where this film kind of is on the line for me in the sort of the haunting modern horror films that are just so by the numbers that I hate.
Yeah.
This is on the edge for me. Like this almost like goes, it's almost one and it's almost the other, but I'm kind of all right with that. And I feel the same about Conjuring 2.
I think it helps that this is the best example of that kind of film. Like it does, it does it way better than most of those other films do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it's just way more mature.
Insidious felt incredibly similar to these films, but almost like just a lamer version.
Yeah, well, I think Insidious came from Lee Winnell and James Wan. I think we're at the point where they built a franchise there with Saw, and they couldn't. I think they were struggling to get more work. They didn't have any sort of loss. They made a loss on Dead Silence, and they were struggling to get it something going again. It did Insidious, I think, quite low budget, and he essentially made another franchise, and then from that got The Conjuring, and James Wan made another franchise. Like he is sort of a franchise machine.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, with the Saw franchise, I really enjoy Saw. I think
The
that's
first one's great. Yeah, it's
I think
amazing.
it's a great film, but I think it slowly devolves into like some of the worst in that genre. Some of the worst sort of like, what would you say, torture
Yeah, yeah.
films. Some of the worst, I think they gradually get worse until you get like the worst. Well, I say gradually get worse. I stopped at 4, I think. I just went, nah, I've had enough of this shit. I'm out. I'm out of here.
Yeah. It's also, I think one of the best things about this film is Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. Like, they are just entertaining, nice. They're quite pleasant to watch, especially in this one and in the sequel. They're the main characters, but they just seem like they just genuinely want to help people. It's quite an endearing quality.
I think they're great individually. They're great together, and they genuinely feel like they want to help these people. And you there's something about it. When you're like, oh, I'm a bit scared of this film, a bit worried, what's going to happen? When they turn up, I'm a bit like, oh, thank God you're here. I'm so glad you guys are here. Come here, give me a hug, both of you. Yeah. And I feel like that about the ghost hunters / the ghost in Poltergeist.
Yeah.
The guys who want to help there. I feel as soon as those sort of characters turn up in these kind of films, I think, it's going to be all right. Whew.
Yeah. I like those little scenes. Like there's the one in the second Conjuring film where he plays guitar for the kids, and it's nothing there really, but for him to try and raise the spirits of the children. And then in this one, he's like he helps the guy fix his car. Like, he has no reason to do that other than the fact that he's just a genuinely good guy.
He's a nice guy. But he's sort of like he doesn't really want, like, he wants to help people, but he'd rather be doing something else, really. He'll still help you.
Playing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But
playing Spider-Man on a PlayStation. Whereas obviously his wife, Vera Farmiga's character, it sort of feels like it's what she was made for. It's her duty. She's got a gift, and she's got to use it. Great power comes great responsibility.
She learned that from playing Spider-Man.
She did.
It's a good film. I think one of the things I really enjoyed about this film is the sort of that it takes a lot of camera movements and styles from 70s horror movies. Like even this bit at the start, it's got like the yellow text going up the screen. That reminded me very much of
Exorcist. It reminded me of
Exorcist, and also because there's a documentarian feel to it, and it reminded me of what's the film that starts like that? Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That starts with the yellow text like that. And there's like the weird sort of slow camera zooms where it just seems to zoom into people really far away for some reason.
It's got a very classic horror feel to it, and again, it's not a very unique story in any sense of the word, but it does kind of feel like it's got its own identity, and it's got its own identity. And I think that comes from the lead characters in it, because it's not a particularly engaging story as such. What I quite like is the fact that they kind of introduce other elements and almost a backstory to the main two characters before the haunting kicks off, rather than them just being brought in as sort of like nobodies who we don't know anything about. We understand that they've been doing this for a while, that Vera Farmiga.
I can imagine a draft of this when it's like it's from the point of view of the family, and like it's all about them. They're the main characters, and they call in these paranormal investigators to help. That feels like the more common route to this film. But the fact that it's the other way around, and we get like a couple of cases, or we get a bit of a history, and we see them even go to a house where it's like the pipes making noises.
Yeah, that's good.
It makes them.
Because they're like, most of the time there's an explanation.
Yeah.
Like 99% of the time there's like an explanation that isn't a ghost or a demon or something like that.
Yeah.
So I guess that sort of gives them as characters weight that we believe their cause, I guess. That they're not just trying to make money off people or.
I think there's 4 cases actually in this film, because there's the exorcism that they linked to at the start, which creates a bit of backstory for them. There's the pipes, then there's the Annabelle case, and then there's this case. So they really do pile a few in.
How do they make their money?
The church, maybe, I guess. Donations.
Patreon.
Patreon.
I kept thinking this. I was like, what's the salary like for this? Are they charging the family? Like, you're all almost terrified and you're almost dead, but this would be £100,000, please.
Yeah.
Maybe not as much as that.
Did you not see that post-credits sequence where It's like just a picture of outside the house, and they get the bill.
Yeah, they get a bill to
invoice.
go. Oh my God! You spent $967 on exorcisms.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know, mate. I don't know. Who knows? GoFundMe.com. So who we got? Cast is quite massive. Vera Farmiga, Patrick Wilson playing the Warrens. We've got the parents played by Lily Taylor, who I recognise from tons of stuff, playing Carolyn Perron. These are based on real people. This is based on a real case. Ron Livingston plays Roger Perron. And then we've got 4 little girls.
Yeah, I think there's 4 little girls. So there's Andrea, Nancy, Christine, Cindy, and April. God, there's 5. Jesus Christ.
Wow, yeah. So
yeah, because it kept happening where I was like, there's another kid there I've not even seen before, I swear.
yeah,
that's pretty much it. Most of it is centered around this family, and that.
There's like there's a cop guy who's a doubting Thomas, and then there's a helping hand, like a student guy. But there's a big cast. So,
James Wan's in it as well.
Is he? James Wan is in it.
Yeah. Isn't he?
I don't know. Tell me.
Tell me.
Is he played the?
I thought he was the like cameraman guy.
That's interesting. I did not know that.
Let me have a look. I thought that was him anyway. Maybe.
I only know James Wan when he's got like coloured hair.
Yeah, like have coloured hair now and again, doesn't he? Oh, maybe I got it wrong then. Oh well.
So how the film starts? It starts off with Warrens are giving a speech in a class.
Yep.
They obviously know that people think they're kooks. They make a joke about it. It's the best way to get over that. They tell people to sign up to their Patreon page, and then they say, they sort of show an example of a guy with an exorcism, guy who's bleeding from his eyes, all that standard stuff. And then I think we introduce also they've got a daughter. I think there's the Annabelle cases around there as well, quite early on. It's weird that the Annabelle case is it's just like a side story. It's not a main story, and yet for some reason this has been inspired so many films.
Yeah, because I guess they give it enough to sort of make it an interesting thing to revisit, and sort of talk about the Annabelle doll, as a vessel for something, and the fact that the Warrens keep hold of it and basically just keep it in a room at their house, a locked room, and then someone says, "Why don't you destroy it?" And they're like, "Well, you don't need to destroy the vessel. It's got to go somewhere. Up your arse."
Up your arse, yeah. Up your Toyota Yaris. And then we're introduced to the family. They just moved into this house. It's like you said, it's a pretty standard setup. There's girls running around. They've got a dog. The house. Actually, I think one of the best things about this film is the location, like the house itself, and also that tree outside on the front garden next to the lake is really visually striking. The house is big and old. James Wan has this real knack for introducing stuff that he's obviously going to use for scares later on. Like in this one, he uses the hand clap game, and then he's got it's like a little music box with like a spinning thing on it.
Oh yeah, no one likes the sight of that.
No.
With like a mirror on it. We're like, that mirror's gonna bleed.
Yeah. In the sequel, he's got like the Mr. Spindly Man thing going on.
There's like a chair. Is there a chair as well? Like
chair. You can just sort of see where he's sort of going to use these scares. But that's one of the things I like about watching his films, because they're genuinely fun to watch, and it's like watching a magic trick. Like he does manage to find ways to get you. The only thing is, the dog pretty much dies within the first 20 minutes. I mean, he's left outside one night. He dies. You don't really see him.
Basically, the dog doesn't want to go into the house. The dog is like, I'd rather sleep outside than go into the house. First rule of thumb there: if the dog don't want to go somewhere, scared of going somewhere, the dog's looking up in a corner of the room.
Yeah. Get
out of there.
Why do you think horror films do that so much? To take out the dog. Why not have the dog stay till the end?
because they want to show you what a malevolent force you're dealing with. All right, if this malevolent force could kill a dog willy-nilly, just imagine what it's going to do to you, an innocent dog, or you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Why doesn't it possess the dog? Maybe there's paperwork or something. I don't know how it works.
There's paper you got to fill out if you want to possess something that's not your species.
Yeah.
You know, it's frowned upon in the demon world.
Yeah, the demon clubs.
Demon clubs.
Okay, so the dog gets it pretty early on. There's some hand clapping games going on between the kids. There's a cupboard. Again, like you look at that and you think that's got to be used for a scare at some point.
Yeah, it's like a creepy old wardrobe. Yeah, so they're doing this game where they cover their eyes and they hide around the house. Someone has to clap to basically give you a clue to where they are. And we established pretty early on that there's a little force in this house that's fucking with them.
Yeah.
By clapping about and doing all this stuff. But yeah, pretty quickly we get introduced. There's like a cellar that's like boarded up that they go down to see what's going down in there. Again, a few like fake out scares, you know.
You're not a fan of those, right? The sort of the fake outs.
Well, it depends. I'm not usually a fan of them. It depends how they're sort of used.
Yeah.
I don't really like fake out scares, but at the same time, I don't like scares happening like too early into this story. So if they just arrived at his house and suddenly a genuine scare happened, I'd probably be a bit like, oh, come on, don't blow your beans too early. So fake out scares serve a purpose, but I don't like the really cheap ass ones, you know.
If it's just something jumping out, or like someone looks one way and looks back, and there's something there, there's something that's cheap about that, and it's if you can expect it coming, then you've already lost the game.
Yeah.
Whereas, so there's the James Wan. The first big scare of this is the girl wakes up in the middle of the night and she feels like something pulling on her leg, and then she looks down and she sees something in the shadows. We don't see it. I think potentially we see two eyes. It's either too dark to see.
There's like there's summit, but I can't really. I think that's good because obviously it plays on real fears. That when you're there alone in a room and it's dark, shadows play tricks on you, and that's sort of...
They give you wedges and that. So and then the sister wakes up and she's like, I can't see anything, and she goes to walk right by it, and she's just, and it makes you feel like something's going to grab her or something, but nothing happens. And then James Wan quite expertly does a bit of a reversal, and the door suddenly slams shut. And there's nothing going on. Nothing happens at that point in time, but it's an early scare. And then I think the next scare might be.
Well, there's a few sort of weird paranormal things as well. Like clocks are stopping at 3:07 a.m. Birds are flying into the window. There's like a foul stench coming from someone, and it's
farted.
It's not because they've had a curry the night before. It is
not
just
this
not this time. And there's another scare obviously where the mother, Carolyn, plays the clapping game.
She hears the clapping coming from the cupboard, right?
Coming from the cupboard, and obviously she's blindfolded, and we see some hands come out, which clearly don't belong to one of her daughters.
Yeah.
Clap, and obviously she tries to find it, but then the kid goes, I was in a different room, and she's like, well, that's weird.
Yeah, you idiot.
I swore you come from the cupboard.
Yeah. So at some point, I think we cut back for a little bit for the Warrens, and they've we introduced a bit of a backstory where I think Patrick Wilson doesn't want to do any more cases with his wife because the last case he did apparently took a big toll on her. She saw something happen, which you find out in the sequel what it is, and she didn't leave a room or didn't speak for a week or something like that. So he's very dubious now. But then they go to that case in the attic where it's actually pipes, and then they go home and have a cheeseburger. So when did he call them into this?
So they kind of it's not quite yet because it doesn't get too bad until pretty much after that bit. So there's another part where Carolyn. So basically the dad goes away as well on a job.
Yeah.
He gets called away to what's his job? Gigolo. He basically gets called away and he's going to be away for a few days.
Yeah.
And at that time, Carolyn hears sort of like noises in the basement, and she goes to like investigate, and lights switch off, and she uses like a match to to try and find her way. She's shitting a brick at this moment.
Yeah.
And then obviously another big scare where some hands come out of the darkness and clap.
Yeah.
And the match goes out. But at the same moment,
Yeah.
two of the girls are in the bedroom, and one of them was like sleepwalking, headbutting into the wardrobe, and then we do get quite a sort of like genuine, pretty horrific scare.
Yeah.
At this point, there's like a really quick zoom towards these girls and up onto the top of the wardrobe where there's like a blood-soaked, witchy, grinning demon, beast, spirit woman who like leaps off the top of the wardrobe, and it's great because it cuts just as she's about to like land on the girls or whatever.
Yeah.
And obviously they start screaming. They're absolutely terrified. Carolyn gets out, and it's around about now, after this horrific,
I think he comes back from his gigolo trip.
He comes back from his gigolo trip, and then they get and then they get the Warrens involved, who are like not skeptical. Sorry, they're just unsure whether they want to commit to it because Patrick Wilson doesn't really want to put his wife through it again. But she's like, we got to help them because Carolyn's sort of almost begging them in a way.
Yeah, I think she comes across. They change their mind fairly early on, don't they? Because they're sort of walking around, and then she's like everything he says, like they hear knocking, and he goes demon, and then you get like a cold draft. What a freak demon! Like everything there instantly. Even though earlier said like 99% of the time it's not, it's just something. This time they're like anything. Yeah, it's probably a demon.
Yeah,
and
it stinks in here. I mean, could
did
be.
You fart? No.
Did you fart? Is it the bins? Is it the drains? Demon. Yeah. Demon is the first one they go to. Like probably a demon, to be fair. Yeah. Like they're not trying to just stop them worrying too much. They're literally going, it's probably a demon. Yeah. Demon probably wants to inhabit your kids or kill your kids or something like that.
Three knocks. It's Holy Trinity something demon.
Yeah. Demon, it's literally like a friendly neighbour. Holy Trinity of demons.
Yeah, I think it's just my neighbour. No, it could be a demon, to be fair.
So they're pretty much. So Lorraine Warren starts seeing stuff sort of around the house, various shapes and spirits, and she sees like she has a vision of this witch, an accused witch, hanging from a tree branch after she like killed herself, and then they work out what the backstory of this spirit is. Or demon. She sacrificed her child to the devil.
Bethesda.
Her name is
I think she made Fallout.
Bathsheba.
Yeah.
Bathsheba, who made Fallout and Fallout 76 so badly.
Yeah.
Sacrificed her week-old child to the devil, killed herself in 1863, cursing all who would take her land. Leave people of the land. Leave people who want the land out of it.
How long does that go on for? I mean, how long after your death is that land still yours? Even
I know.
Like 200 years go by. What? It's going to be completely different.
200 years go by, and like
Starbucks is there.
Starbucks is built on it.
Yeah.
Every single person trying to make a chai latte just gets possessed.
Yeah, and they pour it on the young kid's face. Yeah. So I think then they go, okay, so I think what we need to do an exorcism of the house. We need to cleanse the house. And the way we can do that is by gathering evidence from the church, and we're going to take some video footage, and we're going to send it to the church, and they're going to, I don't know, grant them an exorcism. You have one exorcism.
You can have one exorcism, but if you waste that exorcism, you can't have
a coupon code, and it expires if they use it. Yeah.
So they place like cameras and bells around the house. Obviously, this police officer and this video guru dude.
It could be James Wan. Yeah.
It could be James Wan, but I think I've got that incredibly wrong. But in my defence, I don't even really know what James Wan looks like.
He looks like that guy.
He looks like that guy.
I think he's got like a purple hair
older.
or something.
He looks like that guy, but older.
Yeah.
So sorry, James Wan. I've completely mugged you off there. So yeah, they set all this stuff up, and then there's obviously various sightings and stuff. They get like sort of noises from the radio. There's like the spirit starts, opening doors, mugging them off. One of the police officer sees like the ghost of a maid.
There's that big scare that you shared on the Facebook group where what's her name's doing the washing.
It's good.
This is when it possesses the mum, I think.
So this is a little bit after this particular bit, but this was a good scare. Yeah.
She's doing the washing, and the laundry flies up. The wind blows it off, and it sort of blocks over her shape, and then it flies up through her onto the window. I don't know how they would have been filmed this. flies up into the window, and then the ghosty Bethesda is in the room.
I'll tell you how you'd film that. You just wait for a good gust of wind.
Yeah. But he's got to take your duvet right onto the
500 takes
right into the window. Yeah. I mean, they did it with Ripley in Alien Resurrection. She had to keep throwing a basketball until it hit. So
exactly, this was the same thing.
Yeah.
So as time goes on, they find like a secret passage like through the wardrobe.
To Narnia. Yeah.
It's basically to Narnia, and basically Lorraine starts getting more and more sort of evidence as time goes through. Works out that this spirit has inhabited the bodies of various other people and got them to kill their kids in this house.
Yeah.
Over the years, racked up quite a kill count. Pretty horrible. But basically what happens is the family sort of go to a motel at some point as well. And I think they go to a motel. Ed and Lorraine take their evidence to the church. And obviously the priest is like, I've never seen anything like this before. And they were like, neither have we.
Put it on YouTube, mate.
Put it on the YouTube. I know it's 1971, but you got to put it somewhere. Get this out there. The public want to see this.
That's a good impression. Yeah.
It's a good impression of that man who didn't speak like that before. And then we sort of get this little side plot where Bethesda decides to target the Warrens' daughter.
Yeah.
Utilizing the doll Annabelle, obviously we saw earlier, which I thought was quite nice. It didn't feel like it moved away from the main plot too much. It was just something else. I thought it was a bit confused initially because I thought I was a bit like, is this the same house? What's going on here? Oh no, we've moved somewhere else.
Yeah, and then Annabelle lobs a chair at the daughter.
Yeah, so it's quite a creepy bit where the daughter obviously finds the ghost with Annabelle sat on her lap.
Yeah. In
a rocking chair. That's quite a creepy bit, reminiscent, I guess, of that scare in The Others.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I am your daughter. Whatever that. It reminded me of that a little bit. That was creepy.
Yeah.
But obviously the Lorraines, the Warrens come. The two Lorraines, Lorraine Kelly and Lorraine. I don't know. Lorraine. Yeah, that's it. The Warrens basically save their daughter, and then they're like, "Look, we got to get rid of this spirit because it's clearly mugging us. It's not the kind of spirit that inhabits a space either.
Yeah,
it's obviously the kind of spirit or demon that follows people around, which is the worst one to have.
Like a bad smell. Right? Yeah, lingering.
Like a bad smell. So, when they go back to the house, for some reason the family come back to the house as well.
That's what I'm trying to remember. That's why I was like, I'm not too sure. I think they do go to a motel, but why did they end up back at the house? Maybe they got to be at the house. Well, they try and kick the mum out of the house at one point, and it starts to like burn her skin off, and it's you can't leave.
Around about that bit we said with the washing is when Carolyn gets possessed, because she sort of that's quite creepy when she wakes up, and Bethesda is like hovering above her and sort of spews some muck into her mouth, some Ribena into her mouth, and Lily Taylor who plays the mother Carolyn is pretty damn terrifying as a possessed.
There's a special skill, isn't there? Like some people can just do that sort of acting. Jennifer Carpenter in Exorcism of Emily Rose is quite good at it. I myself are pretty good, if I say so myself.
You could do it after you've had a 9
cold shower. Yeah. I mean, it all kicks off, doesn't it? So it grabs one of them's hair and lobs them into a cupboard. It pushes someone down the stairs. Like it's all going on.
It likes sort of smashing through walls and getting into all the little nooks and crannies and possessing people and taking them through there and all that stuff. I mean, that's pretty
right into the crawl space and stuff.
Yeah.
And then
so in that way, it's quite a claustrophobic sort of.
Yeah, one of the kids disappears and ends up under the floorboards for some reason.
I mean, it'll happen to the best of us, mate. All right.
And then we get the sort of the exorcism moment where what's her name? The mum is Mrs. Mum is in the basement, and they sort of have a fabric over her face.
Why did they put a sheet on her eggs? So like, I can't stand to the sight of you.
Yeah.
I don't want you gozzing at me.
They see an exorcist, so they're like, I don't want to puke in pea soup on me. I'd put something on her mouth as well. Put a sick bucket around her head. But
I'd dress her up like a gimp and just do that zip across her mouth.
Yeah. There's a good bit where they say "reveal yourself," and then the fabric cuts down, like tears on its own, and then
Reveal yourself? What, like in Take Me Out? Single man, reveal yourself. Take me out in the take me out. Yeah, exactly. It's just you at the end with the light on.
Yeah.
To be fair, Take Me Out is in the Conjuring universe.
Yeah, I believe it. I think it must be.
Paddy McGuinness is somewhere.
Yeah.
Possessed by the spirit of a Scouse man. Is he?
No
Scouse?
likey, no lighty.
No likey.
It's from the north.
He's from north, isn't he, bastard?
Yeah. Bolton, I imagine. That's where Peter Case is from.
Blackburn. I don't know. Something like that.
So. Just I got Paddy McGuinness on my head now. So they're doing the exorcism dance. We've all seen it many times. It's quite a good one. The chair hovers, goes upside down. Yep. At some point, she breaks out with it, and then the guy's like upstairs, like
scuttling off with a pair of scissors, ready to basically slice up whoever gets in her way.
The daughter, I think, she's going straight to him. That's like the big thing. And then she goes through she kind of Spider-Man crawls. She's been playing the game as well. Everyone has. She's been playing. She like crawls through the caves. For some reason, there's caves in this house, and
yep.
And then it's a big sort of furore end. The guys, James Wan's trying to get the daughter out of the hole. Ed and Lorraine are doing the exorcism to the Mrs. Mum, and Mrs. Dad is like trying to remind her of her favourite memories. And it's all
don't you remember that time when we all had Nando's? It was great, man.
Spider-Man, and we completed it and got platinum trophies. We were well good, mate.
It was great. You were great. You're the best.
We had them posh pot noodles, sober noodles with the nice sauce. It was great.
It was great. But like Ed manages to pretty easily complete the exorcism, doesn't he? All he's got to do is he puts his head for a hole at some point.
It was, I would say.
Puts his head for a hole, doesn't he? There's like a hole in the wall.
That's part of the exorcism, though.
And he puts his head for it and goes, "Here I am, then." And he completes the exorcism.
Bethesda or something.
Bethesda. Fallout 76 was shit. And she goes.
Yeah.
And there is a nice sort of look on the demon's face there.
Yeah. She knows.
And the exorcism's done. Bethesda is gone. Bathsheba.
Yeah, she melts.
She's gone. She melts into liquid.
And leaves
liquid.
a mother. Liquid mother. And and then they carry liquid mother around in a vase.
Yeah.
And she's fine. The mum, she's fine. She's not melted. I think that's how it ends.
That's pretty much how it ends. Lorraine and Ed go home, leaving us. It's a nice happy ending, I guess, but it's an open ending because they take the music box from earlier. This music box we didn't actually mention just now, but one of the daughters is communicating with one of the dead boys who was like murdered.
Yeah.
Because of the curse.
Yeah.
And there is sort of like this music box with a mirror in it that she sees the ghost through. But yeah, basically the Warrens take that music box away and put it in their house of pain.
Yeah.
They've got a room which is full of haunted shit.
House of pain.
Basically, remember in Ghostbusters when they kept the ghosts in like a
what's it called? Like the reactor thing. Yeah.
Reactor thing, and they're like, look, don't let the ghosts out. It'll fuck the world up. Or it's basically a nuclear reactor type thing. Basically, they've got that.
Yeah.
Does it anyway? But they've got that, but it's essentially a sort of room full of tat. It's just like if you walked into like your great aunt's spare room,
yeah,
and all the tat she's collected over the years, it looks like that. But every single item is basically haunted.
And this week on Most Haunted is this house, Ed and Lorraine Warren. Look at all this shit in this house.
Look at all this shit. Apparently, every item in this room is haunted. Sounds like a load of old bollocks to me.
No likey. This was presented by Paddy McGuinness. No likey, no lighty.
No likey, no lighty.
They're just throwing stuff into the bin. Anyway.
Yeah, so there he is, and that's it. So obviously this collection of items from past cases is clearly like that's ripe for the picking for like a shared universe.
Yeah.
And studio has just gone right. Let's make every
studio
single...
saw that. And it ends on the thing spinning around the spiral. Their eyes just had dollar signs spiraling around their eyes. Yeah. They knew. Yeah.
And who can blame them?
And then James Wan, he was just floating, spiraling around because he does that sometimes. He was one with the universe. Anyway, so trivia. Are you ready for some?
Yes.
Number one. if you could have the power of sight, like what Lorraine Warren has, would you have it?
Oh, don't think so. What, like just normal sight or sight where you like see ghosts and shit?
Sight where you see ghosts and shit.
No, I don't think so. I wouldn't.
Incorrect. You would have it.
Oh.
Number 2.
Got no
What?
choice. Okay.
Yeah. Number 2. What rating did the film get? And I don't mean like a score. I mean in terms of the
British Board of Film
certifications, but like the American one, yeah.
The American version,
AFC or whatever it's called, yeah.
Was
it A?
Yeah.
PG, or was it B? R?
R.
Okay. So this film contains no sex, no nudity, little profanity, just little tits. It's tame and mostly bloodless violence, and brief depictions of alcohol and no smoking. Yet it still received an R rating. This was solely for its scare factor alone. So correct.
It's like someone hanging and shit.
They tried to make a PG-13 because they wanted like the biggest audience they can get, and they know 13-year-olds are massive these days.
I mean, it's not. I mean, it's not a PG-13 film, is it?
It's not. I mean,
I know what you mean.
It's just too scary. I mean, it's just
all those things are void, but it is scary.
Yeah.
Like if there was a big scary, I don't know, Pikachu coming at you.
Like those. If I was a kid, if I was 13 and I watched it, the legs on that were hanging and the woman's just like swinging towards her.
Yeah, that'd be it.
I'd be dead.
I wouldn't sleep. I wouldn't sleep for at least another 10 years.
Yeah. Okay, number 3. What was the original working title of the film? Was it A, The Untitled Warren Files Project, B, Ghostbusters, C, Insidious 3, or D, The Nun During?
The Nun During, that sounds good. Was it the first one, Untitled Warren and Palavadab?
It was, Untitled Warren and Palavadab.
That's better title. I'd like it if it was Insidious 3, because it just come before.
I have no idea where it came into the process.
You just shut that in and try and fuck me up, don't you?
Yeah. Number 4, the composer of the film, Joseph Bishara, has a cameo in this film. Who is he?
Is he
a composer?
Is he the little boy? Yeah, he was quite a small man, but they made him up to look like a little boy.
Close. He plays Bathsheba, the witchy ghost thing. He also plays the lipstick demon from Insidious, and I think the lipstick demon is the
what's his name?
Creepy strangle woman. I think his name is Joseph Bishara. You give me Google.
Joseph Bishara.
Yeah.
So he's the dude who plays the demon. Oh yeah, I can see it. You know. He looks like. Who does he look like?
Oh yeah.
He looks like a cross between Marilyn Manson and
David Draymond. Is that his name? The guy from
the guy
and
from,
a bit like Chester Bennington. It's got like Chester Bennington.
And a bit like exactly.
Yeah.
You've definitely got the kind of face where you're like,
yeah.
Look at his eyebrow. His eyebrow's been drawn on.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Number 5. Screenings in the Philippines of The Conjuring came with a complimentary what?
Screenings of The Conjuring came with a complimentary.
In the Philippines.
Huh?
In the Philippines. Came with a complimentary what?
Came with a complimentary sick bucket.
Close.
Sick bag.
Close.
Bag to put on your head.
Getting closer.
Hat.
No. Okay, well, it came with complimentary blessings by priests, where
was I close?
Well,
it was like
compared
someone else
compared to what? It's all relative, mate. Compared to something else. But screenings in the Philippines are blessed by priests because they were like it needs priests, I guess. So we need to rate this movie out of a possible A.
Out of a possible A rating.
Yeah.
I like this film, but I've seen it too many times, so now I'm kind of bored of it. But I still know that it's a pretty good film. Wait, excuse me. Chesty.
Tight chest. Yeah.
So it's hard to say. Like, how do you rate a film when it comes to that? So I'd probably give it. It didn't. It's good, but it didn't blow my mind. So I'd give it a B minus.
A B for B for blowing.
That's how
your
good
mind,
I think it is. Like for the last time I watched it, I'd probably give it a C.
Really?
Just because of
right, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
That's how I felt about it. But I think a more general rating, I'd say that, yeah.
I went with a B. I probably would have originally, first time I saw it, would have gone for like a B plus. So I hadn't seen that kind of film done that well, maybe ever really. But it's I've called off on it. I think now it's a B. In terms of, I know what you mean, like this viewing experience, because I've seen it so many times in the past 2 years. I think I've seen it 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
It's probably like a C as well, C minus or something. But I'm going to go with a B because I think that's where it should sit.
I think that's fair. I think a B minus. I mean, it's not too far off of that, so I think I'll stick with a B minus. As I said, these aren't usually the kind of films I enjoy. Modern takes on this sort of film I really don't usually get along with, but The Conjuring and The Conjuring 2 are 2 films that I do enjoy.
Yeah.
So there we go. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Yeah. Okay, so what are we doing next week? Do we know yet? Are we doing Congo next week?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think well. So we put a poll out there to see if we thought Congo was a horror film.
9 out of 10 was like, it's not a horror film.
9 out of 10 were like, it's not a horror film, and I agree with that. So I'm sorry to piss on your chips. However, that we were suggested that there was a monkey-based horror movie called Shakma. I don't know if you heard of this. It's sort of like a very low budget, very critically panned 1990 American horror film with a killer baboon. So if we were going to do something monkey based, this might be a good one.
What's the one with the monkey butler? It's directed by, what's his name?
Monkey Butler.
Yeah, it's got the evil monkey butler.
Evil Monkey Butler.
Yeah, there's a Simpsons episode based off of it.
Is it a horror film?
Yeah, what's his name? The guy who did oh my god, my brain's gone dead.
My brain's gone dead. I'm not sure. I keep thinking someone out of bloody Wizard of Oz.
I'm going to tell you.
Evil Monkey Butler. Evil Monkey Butler doll.
Monkey Shines. It's George Romero.
Monkey Shines. Yeah, I know what you mean.
I've never seen it.
I've never seen it either. So Monkey Shines and then Shakma. Shakma, I think, is on YouTube. So I watched the trailer and I found it, and that could be a laugh. But maybe we'll carry on with the list as well, because I think next on the list is Halloween 3.
Okay, yeah, I'm quite excited to see that.
Season of the Witch, which is obviously not a Michael Myers based Halloween film, is it?
Nope.
But if I'm going to watch that, maybe I'll watch Halloween 2 as well, just to get me. But we'll decide what to watch. So next week's episode could be some of those films, could be none of those films.
That's how it works with us. Could be the Nunjuring.
Could be the Nunjuring.
Or the Nun, which I've never seen. Okay, so this show is brought to you by Hawk and Cleaver. Head over to hawkandcleaver.com. Go to the shop on there and buy a Horror Hangout t-shirt and show everyone, cover up your darkness and your inner body, cover up your nips, cover up your
nips. You don't have to wear anything on the bottom if you don't want. You can Donald Duck it.
You could Donald Duck it.
You can Donald Duck.
Yeah. You could do that thing where you tuck it, like, so it's just your belly's hanging out, flopping out.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I like to do that sometimes when it gets hot. And I've got like an ice pop. So thanks to Kovac Cowman for our theme music. Let's talk about Ari Aster then. Thanks to Kovac Cowman for our theme music. Thanks to Acast for hosting the show. Thanks to the listeners. If you enjoyed the show, please consider giving us a rating and review in iTunes, and remember to hit subscribe. And thanks to my co-host Ben for being a right or a dude.
Thanks very much, Luke. It's been a pleasure as always.
Ari! Okay.
Ari!
Okay, catch you in a bit, man.
Bye.
Bye.